Hello, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be doing a twist on my grandmother's chicken and dumplings. So in my pan, I've got about 2 tablespoons of butter that's melted and just a few drops of olive oil to prevent the butter from burning. We are going to saute up some large diced celery. I've got my standard yellow, sweet, and purple onion combination. I've also got some carrots that I had left over from another recipe that I'm going to throw in, and 1 diced up jalapeno. You can leave the jalapeno out if you don't like the heat from it, but I did remove the membranes and all the seeds from it, so it shouldn't be all that spicy. And I'm just going to dump all this in and allow it to saute down and soften up a little bit. Get these stirred in. And by sauteing or softening these up first, it will give us a shorter cooking time once we add the chicken and the broth into this. Probably about, half an hour, 40 minutes until everything is nice and tender. This is a very quick middle of the week meal with leftover chicken from the weekend. I roasted a couple of whole chickens, and I did an extra one with just roasted with poultry seasoning on it that we're going to be using in this dish. You can use any kind of leftover chicken, or even a rotisserie chicken from the store if you want a quicker shortcut. While this is sauteing down, let me remind you of the collaborative playlist that Japika Death and I have going on our channels. If you would like to be a part of that, all you need to do is go out, make a cooking video, and let either Japika and I know that you have posted it to your channel, and we will come and check it out and have it added to the playlist. So far, we've had a lot of fun doing these and seeing everybody's recipes, family recipes. Now, the jalapeno that I added is not what my grandmother would have done. This is more my little spin on it, because my family likes a little bit of heat. And like I said, you can leave it out completely, or you could put the whole jalapeno in there like I did in my chili video and just pierce the sides of it to get the flavor in without all of the heat. But honestly, by removing the membrane and seeds, this is not going to be all that spicy, so even little ones would still enjoy this. Alright, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of salt to help the vegetables sweat down. Just a nice small pinch. You don't want to get too crazy with it now. We're going to be adding more salt as we add more ingredients to it. But the salt helps break down the vegetables and allows them to sweat, which helps make them softer. Alright guys, this is just about to the part that I wanted. The onions are starting to turn translucent, and the carrots and celery are softening up. So at this point, I'm going to add the chicken from the whole roasted chicken that I did. I just tore it up into little pieces. Nothing, no fancy cuts or anything, just ripped it off the carcass. So at this point, I am going to add my chicken stock. You can use store-bought, but what I'm using is leftover chicken broth that I canned when I did the Fallout chicken soup video. So this, I'm going to add 4 cups and probably another 3, I want to say. Just want to get in here and get it covered really well. But I want to save a little bit of stock for the dumplings. I'm saving 2/3 cup of broth for my dumplings and the rest. So that's what, 7 1/4 cups of broth that I've added. Plus I'm going to add in an 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, which this is another addition that my grandmother did not do. But I like the tomato, I like what the tomato brings to the chicken. It gives it a very nice subtle flavor and it deepens the color of your broth. Alright, let's get that stirred in. Alright, at this point I'm going to add in probably about 1/2 teaspoon of basil to start with. Actually, I think I'm going to go with the whole tablespoon, or teaspoon, I'm sorry. A whole teaspoon of basil. That looks better. And I'm also going to add in about a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. A little bit more. There we go. And that will just help reinforce all the poultry seasoning that I used on the chicken when I roasted it. At this point, I'm going to add in black pepper. Add as much or as little of this as you like. Again, my family likes a lot of black pepper, so I tend to have a heavy hand on black pepper. At this point, I'm going to taste it for the salt level before I add any more. And it's going to need some. Probably about, I think I added just about a tablespoon there. And let me check it again. That's good. Alright, I'm going to cover this up and let it cook for probably about 1/2 hour for the vegetables to soften up some more and the chicken to get heated up and the broth to heat up. And in the meantime, we will get our dumplings ready. So let me get you moved over to my other counter and we will continue on from there. While the chicken is warming up and the vegetables are getting softened, I'm going to go ahead and make my dumplings. To start off, I've got 2.5 cups of Bisquick. Bisquick. Good old-fashioned Bisquick. That's what my grandmother always used, so that's how I make my chicken and dumplings, but I do change it up from a standard dumpling topping. So first of all, I'm going to add in some shredded sharp cheddar cheese. Probably about 3/4 of a cup. And again, I like to stir my cheese in while the Bisquick is still dry. That way it doesn't clump together in one spot. Alright, there we go. I'm also going to add in a 1/2 teaspoon, give or take a little bit, of poultry seasoning again. And I'm also going to add in 2 teaspoons of parsley flakes. Again, give or take, probably a little bit shy of 2 teaspoons. I'm going to also add in a little bit more black pepper. Not as much. And a good pinch of salt. You don't want too much because of the cheese. It's got its own salt factor. But we do want to add just a little bit. Give this a good stir. Make sure your spices are well incorporated in. And for my liquid, I'm going to add in the reserved chicken stock that I had. And I actually may need to add a little bit of water. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, let me grab a little bit of water to add to that. Just little bits at a time. I may have been a little bit shy on the 2/3 of a cup of pretty much exactly where you want it. And I'm going to set this to the side until we're ready for it. So when the chicken's ready, I will show you how I add the dumplings and how long I cook them for. Alright, I've had this simmering on the stove for about a half an hour, 35 minutes. Everything started to soften up very nicely. The chicken's all warmed through. The broth is nice and hot. And it's now time to add our dumplings on top. So what I do, I just do the 2-spoon method. Kind of just take it and drop them right in on top. They'll probably sink down a little bit. And that's okay, because they will rise as they cook. Try and make them all equal sizes here. I'm just going to ring all the way around and then fill in the middle. And there we go. Get these last couple in there. I might need to squoosh it around a little bit. Get the last of the dough out of my bowl. Alright, let me see if I can stick that little baby one in there. Alright, from this point, we're going to let it cook for 10 minutes uncovered, and then I'll cover it up and cook it for an additional 10 minutes, and that will help get the tops completely cooked as well. So I will bring you back when it's ready to be served. Alright, it has been 20 minutes and our dumplings are done. I boiled some egg noodles on the side. I don't like to do it in the broth because then they kind of disintegrate and soak up all the broth, and I want some of that in there because it's really yummy. So let me get this served up for you guys. I can tell you it smells amazing. And I'll grab, I guess, one more little dumpling here. Well, that's kind of two. Stick another one right there. There we go. Let me get this out of the way. Alright guys, here you go. A new twist on my grandmother's chicken and dumplings. I don't remember if I said when I was mixing up the Bisquick that all the spices and the cheese and everything that I added to it would not have been something my grandmother did. She would have left it at a plain Bisquick, possibly mixed up with either buttermilk or milk, and then dropped them and cooked them the way we did. Let's get in here and give it a try and see what it tastes like. It smells so good. It's still screaming hot. This turned out incredibly good. All the spices and the cheese that were added into the dumplings just give it a very unique taste, and not something that I've seen anybody else do. If you guys enjoyed this, leave me a comment down below. If you try it, let me know how it turned out for you. I'm always curious to find out what you guys think of my recipes. But for now, thank you for joining me. I've been Vault Girl. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next one.